You do not do serious zoology by just strolling through the zoo, noting this and that, and marveling at the curiosities. Serious zoology demands precision. It depends on having agreed upon methods of description and analysis. This is the only way other zoologists can be sure they understand what you are saying. Now consider the study of the mind, what we call phenomenology. Serious phenomenology is in even greater need of a clear, neutral method of description. The problem is, it seems no two people use the words the same way. Everyone thinks they are an expert on their own consciousness. It is astonishing to see how often academic discussions of these controversies degenerate into desk-thumping cacophony. Everybody talks past everybody else. This is all the more surprising because, according to long-standing philosophical tradition, we are all supposed to agree on what we find when we look inside. Doing phenomenology has usually seemed to be a reliable communal practice. It is supposed to be a matter of pooling shared observations. When Descartes wrote his Meditations, he wrote it as a first-person soliloquy. But he clearly expected his readers to concur with each of his observations. He expected you to perform the same explorations in your own mind and get the same results. The British empiricists, like Locke and Hume, wrote with the same presumption. Locke enshrined this in his essay concerning human understanding. He called it the historical plain method. He thought he was just setting down the observed facts, reminding readers of what was manifest to all who looked. In fact, almost every author who writes about consciousness assumes this. We call this the first-person plural presumption. It assumes that we, you and I, can speak comfortably about our mutual acquaintances in the stream of consciousness. We act as if we are conspiring together, nodding in agreement about what we see. But this would be fine if it were not for the embarrassing fact that controversy and contradiction plague these claims. We are fooling ourselves about something. Perhaps we are fooling ourselves about how much we are alike. Maybe when people join a school of thought, they are just joining the group that describes their specific type of inner life. And then they innocently overgeneralize, assuming everyone else is just like them. Or perhaps we are fooling ourselves about the reliability of introspection itself. Ever since Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am," we have believed our capacity for self-observation is immune to error. We think we have privileged access to our own thoughts and feelings, an access guaranteed to be better than any outsider's. Imagine anyone trying to tell you that you are wrong about what you are feeling. We act as if we are infallible, always guaranteed to be right, or at least incorrigible, meaning right or wrong, no one else could possibly correct us. But what if this doctrine of infallibility is just a mistake? I suspect that when we claim to be just using our powers of inner observation, we are actually engaging in impromptu theorizing. And we are remarkably gullible theorizers. We are gullible precisely because there is so little to actually observe and so much to pontificate about without fear of contradiction. When we introspect communally, we are really in the position of the legendary blind men examining different parts of the elephant. One feels the trunk, one feels the leg, and they come to totally different conclusions. This seems preposterous at first, so let us look at the evidence. Did anything surprise you when you tried to observe your own mind? Consider your peripheral vision. Most people are surprised to learn that they cannot identify a playing card until it is almost dead center in their vision. Before the test, they would have sworn they had clear content all the way to the edges. Why do people make such claims? Not because they directly observed it, but because it stands to reason. You do not notice any gaping blanks in your visual field. So you assume the canvas of your mind is painted all the way to the edge. But that is a conclusion drawn from a bad theory, not a direct observation. Or consider the Pinocchio illusion. If you are blindfolded, and a vibrator is applied to your arm while you touch your nose, you will feel your nose growing. If the vibrator moves, you might feel like you are pushing your nose inside out. You are authoritative about the feeling, but you are completely wrong about the structure of your own body in that moment. I am not saying we have no privileged access to our experience, but I am saying we are much less immune to error than we think. People generally admit they don't have special access to the foodie causes, seedy of their experiences. You don't know how your brain processes light or sound, but people claim to be authoritative about the experience selfie in isolation. Yet even there we overstep. Would you bet money that you can experience a patch of color that is red and green at the same time? Not mixed into brown, but both distinct colors at once. Some say yes, some say no. There's a sound called the auditory barber pole. It seems to keep rising in pitch forever without ever getting any higher. These are illusions of phenomenology. My point is that we should be alert to a very tempting overconfidence. If we want to study the mind scientifically, we cannot just trust the first-person view. If we cannot trust pure introspection, what do? In the history of psychology, the recognition of this problem led to the downfall of introspectionism and the rise of behaviorism. The behaviorists were meticulous. They decided to avoid speculation about what was going on in my mind or your mind. They championed the third-person perspective. Only facts gathered from the outside count as data. You can videotape people. You can measure reaction times when they push buttons. You can measure pulse rates, sweat response, and brain waves. But you must not make any assumptions about what is going on in their minds. The idea was simple. Since you can never see directly into a mind, mental events are not data in the strict sense. This methodological scruple is still the ruling principle of experimental psychology today. We focus on the one class of entities everyone agrees is conscious, adult human beings, but we remain neutral. Philosophers often talk about zombies in a technical sense, not the Hollywood kind. A philosophical zombie is a being that acts exactly like a human. It talks, it laughs, it debates philosophy, but it has no inner light. It is an automaton. The whole point is that you cannot tell a zombie from a normal person by looking at the outside. Since that is all we ever see, strictly speaking, maybe your best friends are zombies. My method makes no assumption about this. We study human subjects. People are unique in science. You have to talk to them. You have to give them instructions. If you give instructions in Turkish to an English speaker, the experiment fails. This verbal communication is the key. So, how do we treat this verbal data? Imagine we record an experiment. We have videotapes, sound tapes, brain scans. This is all physical data. The sounds the subject makes are physical events. We could explain them with physics or physiology, but we are interested in the words. So, we give the tape to a stenographer. We ask them to type up a transcript. This simple step is a radical shift. We move from the world of sounds to the world of words and meanings. We rely on the stenographer's ability to understand the language. If the subject says, "Jamin, if I push the button," the stenographer types, "Do you mind if I push the button?" The stenographer interprets the noise. If the subject says the spot is moving from left to light, the stenographer corrects it to left to right. We effortlessly make sense of the sound stream. We create a text. The text is not raw data. It is an interpretation. The subject might be a zombie, or a computer, or a parrot dressed in a suit. But we create a text as if there is a speaker. We apply this directly to our experiment. We treat the subject's report as a fiction. Not that they are lying, but we treat the text as generating a world. I call this the 4D heterophenomenological world of the subject. This world is determined by the text. It is a stable, intersubjectively confirmable theoretical posit. Just like Sherlock Holmes's London, we do not ask yet if it is real in the brain. We just describe the world the subject lives in. As in fiction, what the author says goes. If the subject says, "I see a purple cow," then in their heterophenomenological world, there is a purple cow. We don't correct them. We accept their authority over their own story. This might sound patronizing. Are we just humoring them? Consider an anthropologist studying a tribe. This tribe believes in a forest god named Phenomen. The anthropologist has a choice. He can convert and believe in Phenomen, or he can stay agnostic. The agnostic scientist studies the cult. He records their beliefs. He notes that some say Phenomen is blue-eyed, others say he is brown-eyed. He seeks to eliminate disagreements. He builds a logical construct of this god. He describes Phenomen perfectly based on the data. But to the scientist, Phenomen is just an intentional object, a fiction of the tribe. The scientist does not believe Phenomen exists in the forest. However, the native believer sees it differently. To him, Phenomen is real. The believer thinks he knows everything about Phenomen. He might be annoyed if he knew the scientist was just treating it as a story. The heterophenomenologist is like that agnostic anthropologist. We treat the subject's report as the authoritative text about their world, but we remain neutral about whether that world maps to physical reality. We maintain a constructive sympathy. We want the definitive description of the subject's world. Officially, we keep an open mind about whether they are zombies or liars, but we don't advertise that. We listen. We transcribe. We build the world. Heterophenomenology allows us to do the same for humans. We take the rich, subjective world of the human storyteller, their fictional world, and we map it step by step onto the mechanical processes of the brain. We don't dismiss the experience. We treat it as a text to be interpreted. And then we look for the machinery that makes the story true.